have both a Christian and a Muslim prayer. And the person to give the Christian prayer is no other than Pastor Sylvester Jame. Is he in the house? Can you please give us the opportunity by Samba Baude, the Muslim prayer?
Good morning. Creator of the universe, what can't you do? What can't you do, Jesus? Name above every other name, what can't you change? What can't you change, Jesus? You are able, great and mighty God. You are able, Jesus. There is nothing you cannot do, nothing you cannot change, nothing cannot turn around. You are able, great and mighty God. We put our trust in you. You are able, Jesus. Creator of the heavens and the earth, the Lord our God, we join all of creation. We join the angels in heaven. We join the elders and the great cloud of witnesses and all of creation to say, you are holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. Heaven and earth display your glory, your power. Father, we join the host of heaven. We join the angels, the elders, the great cloud of witnesses, and all of creation to say, you are worthy, Lord, to receive all glory and power, because you created all things, and for your pleasure they are and were created. What is man that thou art mindful of him? Of man that you take time to attend to the needs of people, of men. So we are grateful for your love, grateful for your loving kindness. We acknowledge that you are the reason why we are here today. Without you, we could not have gathered here. You have allowed us to partake of the blessings of this day. So from the recesses of our hearts, we say thank you. Indeed, it is a privilege to be in this room this morning. And you, as the giver of life, have permitted us to be here. We appreciate you. Now, Father, we commit this glorious gathering before you. Mighty God, we call out to you from this region. Like David said, we lift our eyes to the hills from where our help cometh from. Our help cometh from you, O God, who made the heavens and the earth. And today we are asking for your help. Thank you for the game changers in this room. We ask for the wisdom needed as we discourse. We ask for the wisdom needed for the leaders as they talk on different issues today. Illuminate the hearts of our leaders. Illuminate the hearts of game changers gathered in this room. And we continue to ask, oh God, that your glory will find expression through the Sahel. We rise against the forces that have made it difficult for us to enjoy the peace and prosperity that you have given this region, Lord. And we pray that all the forces will cooperate and work together for the prosperity of the Sahel. The forces will cooperate for the advancement of our leaders, the advancement of our people in the Sahel. We know you have also blessed this continent and you have blessed this region, Lord, with riches. Therefore, we ask that the earth will yield her fatness unto us. And you will help us to embrace the right set of values so that we can navigate in a way that will bring glory to your name and help the people of the Sahel to enjoy the blessings that you have given them. All of this, Lord, we ask in the name of the Messiah, Jesus Christ.
Thank you very much, Pastor Steele. We'd like to call on some.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم خير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة في الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ عليتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وباركت على سيدنا محمد ما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما كل كلادك الما سبق الناس بالحق
Thank you. We gather today in our history as a small region with numerous challenges. These challenges the stability, security, prosperity of its people. The theme of this conversation, rebuilding trust. To give the official welcome remarks, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, my sister, Fatu Kine Jobe. A round of applause for her.
Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, Your Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Chairperson of the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Foundation, Your Excellencies, States, Excellencies, former Vice Presidents, and former Ministers, Honorable Speaker of the Assembly, Honorable, my Lord the Chief Justice, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, Lord Mayors and Governors, President of the ECOWAS Community, of West Africa, Special the Secretary General, Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Assistant Secretary General and the United Nations Development Program, Regional United Nations Special Coordinator Development in the Sahel, and the esteemed representative of the United Nations, Regional Director of the National IDEA, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, service chiefs, senior government officials, civil society organizations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Excellency Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, and the people of the Gambia, I have the honor and privilege to welcome you to the inaugural Sahel Governance Forum at the Sadao de Keraba Jawara Conference Center in Banjul, the Gambia, the smiling coast of Africa. We take great pride having in our midst His Excellency Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, and in hosting the esteemed former heads of states and vice presidents, whose wisdom and statesmanship continue to shape the regional peace and governance efforts. Your presence here today underscores the vital importance of collaborative leadership and sustainable dialogue in addressing the governance challenges and opportunities in our region. We also extend our sincere appreciation to all the delegates represented here, including government officials, civil society leaders, development actors, youth, and women representatives, and technical experts from across the Sahel and beyond. Your engagement in this forum reflects a shared commitment to advancing inclusive, participatory, and resilient governance across the region. The government of the Gambia is proud to partner with the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, the United Nations Development Program, the Office of the UN Special Coordinator for the Development in the Sahel, and the International IDEA, whose collective efforts have made this forum possible. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in co-hosting this gathering, the Gambia stands not only as a geographical base, but as well as a symbol of hopeful transition and the transformative power of unity, dialogue, and shared commitment for now and our future generations. As a nation that has gone through a homegrown transitional justice process, weathered the storm of COVID-19 and the economic impacts that are facing our people and the region, we recognize the immense challenges facing the Sahel and indeed the global development system today. Challenges that test the resolve of governments and citizens alike. The Gambia's recent experience demonstrates that peaceful change, grounded in inclusion, respect, and determination is possible. It is the testimony for the region, for all of us here, that true progress is a process, only attainable when we share a common purpose and work together for an inclusive and just society to bring hope, respect, and economic benefit for our people. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we hope that the forum will be a catalyst for innovative partnerships and renewed collective action across the Sahel. And in conclusion, on behalf of the government of the Republic of the Gambia, I warmly welcome you all once again to the Gambia, and we wish you a wonderful stay in the smiling coast of Africa. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Madam Fatou. Your Excellency Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, Your Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, former President of the Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellencies, former President of Mali, former President of Burkina Faso, all the leaders, distinguished guests here before us, I stand on all protocol observed by my fellow sisters. Your Excellency Adama Barrow, you have said to us always that you are a champion of women's leadership and engagement. And I know in the past few minutes of the opening of this first Sahel Governance Forum, you have heard from 3 of us. I have the distinguished pleasure of also ensuring you that as much as women want to lead, We lead by also ensuring that we are inclusive and do not want to always take center stage. So I welcome humbly our UN resident coordinator to the Gambia, Mr. Carl Frederick Paul, to also give welcome remarks on behalf of all of us here in the Gambia. And I'm very surprised that I haven't gotten a bit of applause at the excellence Your Excellency, that you have always promoted in terms of ensuring that women lead as we deal with the issues today at hand and for the next 2 days. Please, RC, welcome.
Thank you very much, dear Resident Representative. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Mr. Adama Barrow, Excellencies, former Head of State, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Traoré Diakunda of the Republic of Mali, Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly of the Gambia, Fabakary Jatta, His Excellency Omar Aliou Touré, President of ECOWAS, His Excellency Minister of Foreign Affairs of International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, Mr. Aliou Njai, Honorable Ministers of the Gambia here present, Special Representative of the African Union to the Sahel and Mali, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, Undersecretary General, Special Representative of the Secretary General Leonardo Simão of UNOWAS, USG SRSG Abari of United Nations Office for Central Africa, UNOCA, USG Special Coordinator in the Sahel, Mr. Abdoulaye Mar Dieye, ASG Aruna Eziakonwa, UNDP Assistant Administrator and Director of the Regional Bureau of Africa, Honorable Governor of Bauchi State of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Excellencies, former Prime Ministers of Burkina Faso, Excellencies, Special Advisors, members of the Diplomatic Corps and Consular Corps accredited to the Gambia, the Regional Director of the United Nations Development Coordination Office, Mr. Yakub Elilo, dear colleague of the United Nations here in the Gambia, but also from other countries, members of the public service, ladies and gentlemen, delegate, civil society organization, all protocol respectfully and duly observed. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome you to the Gambia, the smiling coast of Africa, for this Sahel Governance Forum. Please allow me to extend our sincere appreciation to His Excellency Mr. President Adama Barrow and to the people of the Gambia for their gracious acceptance in hosting this forum for us to share knowledge, lessons learned, promote South-South cooperation, and reshape the narrative and collective action of this great region. As the United Nations Resident Coordinator to the Gambia, I would like also to acknowledge and appreciate the collective collaboration and partnership between the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, the Office of the UN Special Coordinator for Development of the Sahel, and International IDEA for the invaluable effort in bringing us together to reinforce, reaffirm our commitment to advancing good governance and sustainable development for the people we all serve. As we gather here today in the Gambia, a country that continues to advance its own democratic transition to the National Development Programme, or YIRIWA, we are reminded that good governance is the enabler of all sustainable development and is also the foundation of peace, security, and of stability. With the many challenges facing the Sahel, like political instability, governance challenges, limited opportunity for young people, and environmental pressures, our collective effort must focus on building resilient institutions and promote inclusive participation to accelerate implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals through homegrown but locally led and globally connected solutions that leave no one behind. Therefore, this forum offers a unique opportunity to reflect, exchange experiences, and reinforce our joint commitment to accountable, inclusive, and transparent governance. It is also a moment to amplify the voices of women and of young people who are key agents of sustainable change and transformation in our region. The United Nations remains committed to supporting all member states and communities across the Sahel to achieve the aspiration of the 2030 Agenda, but also the African Union's Agenda of 2063. Together, let us work toward a Sahel where governance is not only a reality, but also effective, a just, inclusive, and people-centered approach. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the United Nations Development System, I wish us all fruitful and productive discussion that will result in meaningful outcome that will advance our shared goal for and with the people we serve in the Sahel and everywhere. Let us rebuild social cohesion and public trust. Thank you once again for being part of this important gathering. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Obrigado. Shukran jazilan. Jadetef abaraka.
Thank you very much, UN Resident Coordinator to the Gambia. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and sincere apologies that we started a little bit later than we expected, but we are so proud of the engagement and attendance that we have not only here in the hall, but also streaming live, working in close collaboration with the technology and all of the systems that are available as we are here in the smiling coast of Africa. We are about to get to a brief interlude, but before I say that, I would just like to thank my dear sister to Senegal, who, under the able leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow and His Excellency former President of Nigeria and founder of the Good Luck Jonathan Foundation, working to bring the elders that are seated here before us in Africa so that we can make sure we create a platform for engagement, good discussion, good or bad, but ultimately to ensure that we chart a path on what we can do these that works with us. May I call my co-chair, Madame Anne Ionu, to introduce our high formally. We will also get ready to prepare for a brief interlude to continue and make sure with clear serve. And Jerry Jeff.
Friendly of the culture and hospitality in Gambia. And Mariam for their while they are getting ready present personalities in our midst. I'd like to recognize the presence of the Governor of Bauchi State, His Excellency Senator Bala Mohammed. We also have visiting senators from the sub-region. We have Senator Ab from Nigeria. We have the Senator. We have Dr. Fomuyon, who is the Senator for Africa and from the US. We also have in our midst members of the diplomatic corps who have graciously also honored us with their presence. Okay, so over to you, Brahma and Mariam. Thank you so much. A round of applause for that. Thank you. That was very heartwarming. Thank you. We'd like to call straight on Dr. Roba Sharama, the Regional Director for Africa and West Africa National IDEA, to give his remarks. Please. Thank you.
Your Excellency of the Republic of the Gambia, Adama Barrow, former presidents, officials of the UN, ECOWAS, Africa Union, and also the various regional economic of the government. UN region for invite in this important forum. Global here. Particularly our donors this the government of the Gambia for the good offices they give us, and also really the partnership that has really been from strength to strength, Your Excellency. We thank and appreciate the support we give from the Union, and also particularly thank and appreciate Our Excellency Ambassador Im to the Gambia for the very important support they give us as international and working with also the various member states. Your Excellency, quite an important milestone. Over the last few years, we have seen quite dynamic changes in the Sahel, part of Africa, Horn of Africa, and also part of the Central Africa. Democracy doesn't just survive on elections alone. Democracy survives when the wishes is upheld. Over the years, IDEA doing the work in constitution building, in strengthening democracies, supporting elections, and political participation, and particularly the work and youth and speaking particularly and Sudan, the whole, we have every situation is unique and every situation national bring facts to inform
forum is taking place at a particularly crucial moment when the security and governance landscape of the Sahel is undergoing profound changes. By many counts, this forum provides a unique opportunity to share perspectives, foster meaningful dialogue, and co-create solutions for advancing a renewed governance agenda that prioritizes social cohesion and public trust across the Sahel and beyond. In a sense, the Sahel is synonymous with ECOWAS, not least because until recently, 70 million ECOWAS citizens were from the Sahelian states, namely Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Even with their departure, ECOWAS continues to consider the three countries as part of the community. And there is strong evidence that the three countries share a similar sense of belonging to the West African community. This is why ECOWAS and the three countries have agreed that despite the withdrawal from ECOWAS, and until a new agreement is reached, the people of West Africa will continue to enjoy the gains of regional integration. In addition, the two sides have agreed to work on conditions that will facilitate collaboration in the area of counterterrorism. The three countries have also indicated their intention to remain as members of some of the ECOWAS agencies, such as GIABA in Dakar and the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development based in Lomé. Excellencies, what all this shows is that some misgivings might surround the institutional frameworks, but nobody in either ECOWAS or in the three countries questions the imperative of working together for the benefit of the people of West Africa. It is in this context that we look forward to the outcome of this forum, which I am confident will include innovative strategies to enhance social cohesion and citizen-state relations, as well as the advancement of governance through stronger democratic institutions that will promote accountability, discipline, and results. Yes, accountability, discipline, and results are values that we cannot overstress. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by sharing my personal thoughts about the relationship between governance and development. You see, for many people, governance is all about elections. Elections are important. But reducing governance to elections is a very dim view of governance. Governance, excellencies, is about accountability. It is about discipline. It is about results. Therefore, unless accountability governs citizens and government relationships, unless discipline permeates our social fabrics, and unless
of the Gambia, Your Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Excellencies, very, very important guests today, allow me to stand on already observed protocol. You know, as an African, I often have this nightmare because I attend a lot of meetings on this continent, that while we're observing protocol, very long list of protocol, the world is leaving us behind. And then I realized I am in the entire West Africa region. The idea in Africa. This forum could not be more timely, ladies and gentlemen. The Sahel is at a crossroads. People are still waiting for state presence. We desire 30%, that's not legitimacy. And over half believe their countries are going in the wrong direction. An erosion of trust that undermines social cohesion and fuels disillusionment. This is a negative environment of prosperity and of legitimacy of a nation, an important nation in this region. In that single courageous act, he spared Nigeria the specter of post-election violence and reminded both the continent and the world that true statesmanship is measured not by how long one holds on to power, but by the dignity with which one lets it go. It is a show of strength, not weakness. I wish that many of our leaders will get the message. His ongoing work now with the West African Elders Forum and his foundation is a beacon for those who believe that power is not an entitlement, but a responsibility. The partnership that we have between Goodluck Jonathan Foundation and UNDP reflects this shared belief that governance is the cornerstone of peace, of resilience, of legitimacy. Your Excellencies, today we are launching a pivotal report, The Future of Governance in the Sahel, Rebuilding Social Cohesion and Public Trust. Based on over a year of consultation with citizens and governments across the region, this report offers very clear messages. The first one is that people are not giving up on the state. They are actually just waiting for the state to show up. The second one is that they are not asking for miracles. They are just asking for institutions that they can trust. And the third is that they want services that deliver, justice that protects, and leaders who are present not just during elections, but during everyday struggles. Governance, as we're reminded, is not abstract, it's personal. It's personal for many of you in this room. It's personal for your families, for your communities, and for your countries. It is the mother in Mopti, in northern Mali, who wants her daughter to go to school without fear. It is about the youth in Tillaberi, in Niger, who dreams of launching a business, not just joining an armed group. It is the artist in Bamenda, in Cameroon, who to walking away from the things that have been stopping us from playing our own role. We need a shift from managing instability to building legitimacy, from managing poverty to promoting prosperity, from viewing people as nations look inwards and retreat from multilateralism, a system that is designed to save us from ourselves. I ask myself, what time is it? And I think this is Africa's time. This is Africa's moment. This is Africa's century. This is time for Africa to show the world that although it is shaped like a question mark, it has the answer to a broken world. I thank you.
Thank you, Madame Ahuna. I have the singular pleasure as well to introduce our special representative of the United Nations Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel, and the head of the United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Mr. Leonardo Santos Simao. Thank you.
His Excellency Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of Gambia, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Traoré Diomba Konda, former Head of State of Mali, the Head of the UN Regional Office for Central Africa, His Excellency Abdullah Mar D.A., Special Coordinator for Development in Sahel, His Excellency Dr. Omar Ali Touré, President of ECOWAS Commission, Her Excellency Aouna Ezeakonwa, UNDP Assistant Administrator, Dr. Robert Sharamu, Regional Director for Africa and West Africa International IDEA, colleagues of the UN family, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the United Nations, I would like to thank His Excellency President Adama Barrow and the people of the Gambia for hosting this important event. I also thank the UNDP for conducting this study at a crucial time for our region. It is an honor for me to address this conference focused on the future of governance in the Sahel. Here in Banjul, we are united by a common purpose to reflect on the challenges of our region, our region faces, and to collaborate on solutions for lasting peace, prosperity, and development. The Sahel stands at a crossroads of partnerships, cultures, aspirations, and historic choices. We gather here today because we recognize the need for fresh thinking. The voices of our citizens, especially our youth, demand governance that ensures peace and stability while delivering dignity and hope. Therefore, our discussions must be rooted in current realities, yet bold enough to envisage a future of celebrating resilience and ingenuity of our people. We meet in uncertain times. Uncertainty about regional integration reflects the citizens' realities. The journey isn't easy, but by uniting around shared values and diversity, we can forge just and effective governance. As we shape the next chapter, we cannot avoid the tough question: the UN role and supporting governance, development, and political change. UNOWAS remains committed to supporting the next steps and implementing recommendations, honoring the valuable contributions of all involved. I thank everyone for their dedication to better governance in the Sahel. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to call on the former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chairman of the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, Chairman of the West African Elders Forum, my boss, yes, my boss, His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
Thank you so much. His Excellency President Adam Maboro, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, thank you for being with us and for hosting us. Your Excellencies, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me to me is very brief, so I'll be also try to be brief. I'm always worried about conferences because of a drama I watched in the 70s titled Holding Talks. I always want to know what do we gain at the end of the conference. And when we are to come, I call my executive director and my media aide and say, okay, we're talking about the Sahel. What is special about the Sahel that attract the World Bank, attract the United Nations, to the extent that the UN will have a special representative just on the Sahel? And what occurs to me is crisis, terrorism, and banditry. And I asked them, which other part of Africa do we have similar conditions? And we look across. Yes, we have conflict in a number of countries, sometimes because of stupid struggle for leadership. But then the next part of Africa that you have a similar condition like the Sahel is Somalia. And I looked through the literature, and it's clearly that and when people are confronted with this kind of scenario, definitely you will expect major conflicts that will come up. No matter the margin. If you read Al Gore's book, Earth in the Balance, the former Vice President of America, Vice President of Bill Clinton, he devoted one chapter to look through history, how empires collapse because of similar conditions, environmental conditions, and devastated environment, including living before they migrated to the cities to cause this revolt. You know that they came from the Sahelian region, and mainly those areas that they had major drought in the 70s, and the river pest epidemic that affected cattle rearing. Even the non-Nigerians that participated in those revolts from Burkina Faso, from Niger, from Mali, from northern Cameroon, migrated from areas that were affected. So what I'm saying is that if we must get the Sahel managed, the key thing is that we must find ways to create wealth in the Sahel. We must find ways to create wealth in the Sahel. And that is why when I was the president, I just have to summarize because there is no time. I did two things. We started rehabilitation. The Great Green Wall Project was initiated by the World Bank. And of course, AU launched it, I think, in Lagos in 2007. But after that, it collapsed. And I said, well, let us start in Nigeria. And if it is working, we can push other countries. Where we're supposed to plant trees from the Atlantic to the Indian Ocean across these areas to make sure that the desert no longer pushed down. In fact, that year we didn't have any, because I started that year, 2015 or so, before the election. We had no line budget for it. I have to release 10 billion naira from Ecological Fund to that agency that I established under Ministry of Environment, and we initiated that project. Somehow I lost the election. I don't know what has happened to. And so For me, UNDP can give the technical support to the countries. The countries will play a key role supported by the regional or state governments.
Thank you, Your Excellency. To handle the launch of the Future of Governance in the Sahel report, I would like to call on the Director, UNDP Hub, West and Central Africa. I like to call him Oga Njoya Tiku. A round of applause for him.
Thank you, Anne, Your Excellency, President Barrow. I will join my boss to sit on existing protocol, if you don't mind. We would be launching, as the Director for UNDP Africa said, the future of governance in the Sahel. And I'm going to take 2 minutes just to explain how we got here. 2 years ago, when we realized that the region had already gone through several waves of transition, we noticed that geopolitics had taken over the narrative and the framing of what Sahel is. And we did a cursory analysis to see how many reports and documents have been written about the Sahel and how they projected the Sahel. We realized that there were 348 publications on the Sahel, and of the 348 publications, only 2 pointed to the Sahel as a place where anybody could invest. And we saw a correlation between that very negative conversation and projection of the Sahel and the kind of FDI that was coming into the Sahel. So as UNDP, we reached out to the happen and how can we to digital, even to peace and security, from youth to women and to local economic governance, from youth to women and to local economic governance. We spent a year drafting and researching and talking to the people of the Sahel. We had 3 different consultations and brought in external reviewers. We had 2 senior supervisors on the project, our RCs in Rwanda and our former UNDP representative then in DRC. They are also in the room. And after a whole year, thanks to our seniors that are here, we were able to put the result to an external vetting test to see if the data in the report meets the reality that we see in the Sahel. I'm really privileged, Your Excellency, to say that today we have the report. I would invite now Chief Ma, the Special Coordinator for Development in Sahel, maybe to talk to us about the content. I just wanted to talk about the process, to talk about the content and help us join you to launch the report. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, yen wa Banjul. Assalamu alaikum, yen wa Sahel, as we have heard. Mr. President, dear High Table, this morning it was raining, and I think it is still raining. In African cosmology, when you organize a ceremony and it rains, it means you have the blessing of the Spirit. And may also the force be with us while we are here in Banjul. Mr. President, we have heard very powerful statement this morning. And my takeaway from this statement is that we are in search of a missing piece, a peace without which we can have peace, security, and development. And that missing piece is governance reinvented. It's a very difficult, elusive, and complex concept, as we have heard from the statement of today. But we all know that when you want to analyze complexity, you have to go to the spirit of the matter. And here I would like to be speaking under the control of Pastor Theo, Father Theo, who said, and here I would like to refer to l'Évangile selon Saint Jean in the scriptures. It is said that If you want to understand the spirit, you have to go to the spoken words. And when I read this very complex document, the word that is most spoken is the word justice. It means that justice is the supremacy of governance. And here too, I would like to speak under the control of Imam Balde. When I scanned the document, I realized that the word justice, which is the most spoken, is spoken 232 times. In Islam, when you go through the 99 names of God, the one that matches 232 is Al-Kabir, which is the supreme. It is here, and I'm sure that the writers have been blessed by serendipity, because 232, which matches Kabir, again is an affirmation of the supremacy of justice. Not only the primacy of justice have been taught in the theory of justice, but the supremacy of justice. But I would submit that this very complex notion of governance and of justice has to be deconstructed during our 3 days. I would suggest 3 avenues of deconstruction. Avenue number 1 is we also speak about the geopolitics of governance. Today, we are seeing a tension between growing sovereignty, me first, my country first, against solidarity, needed solidarity. And we can see that multilateralism is under threat, and the United Nations, which is the custodian of multilateralism, is under jeopardy. So we have really to drill down under this notion of geopolitical governance to understand really and go at the spirit of the matter. The second avenue I would like us to investigate is the political economy of governance. And here we have to speak truth. In our countries, we are seeing the dance of wolves around Lady Justice, be it the executive, be it the legislative, be it the judiciary. But I think we have to transform this dance of wolves into, as they would say in Senegal or in the Gambia, a malach, which is more powerful than the dance of wolves. But here too, in the political economy of governance, we have to deal with the tension between the elite, growing elite capture of governance and people's agency. That too is something that you have to put on the table. The third avenue I would like to explore is the future of governance in 2 dimensions. We have to look at the AI, which is a kind of Jekyll and Hyde. There are positives and negatives, we cannot ignore it. But here I would like to speak on behalf of the young generation. We have also to contrast the governance of hope versus the governance of despair, which is prevalent in our countries. Let me conclude by saying that, and we have seen it at the COVID, I don't want us to try to build back better, but see how we can build forward better. Disruptions are not always bad. When we see disruptions, we got a little bit afraid. But disruptions, and we are seeing a lot of disruption in the Sahel, is a kind of invite to reconstruct the future, to imagine the future, which is the essence of our meeting here in Banjul. My end note, Mr. President, and President Jonathan said it, this shall not be just another meeting, but a moment of transformation. I would even call it the BMG, the Banjul moment of governance. I thank you. Shall we give it to the President?
Thank you very much. And this is the launch of the future of governance in the Sahel. We have evidence-based data to make us have a foundation for discussion moving forward, and all of the participation from all of you. And without further ado, may I please introduce the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation, and Gambians Abroad, Honorable Sereng Modou Diaye.
Thank you, my dear sister. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, President Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Republic of the Gambia, Your Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chairperson of the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Foundation, Your Excellency, former Prime President of the Republic of Mali, His Excellency Yankunda Traore, Excellencies, former Vice President, Your Excellency, former Prime Minister of the Republic of Burkina Faso, United Nations Assistant Secretary General, UNDP Assistant Administrator and Director of Regional Bureau, Your Excellency, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Aliou Touré, the Special Representative of the Secretary General, United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel, Regional Directors of International Ideas, the Honorable Governor of Bauchi State, Your Excellency, the Special Representative of the Chairperson of the African Union for the Sahel, His Excellency Dr. Tangara, the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, my Lord, the Chief Justice, Honorable Cabinet Ministers here present, and Permanent Secretaries, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, Lord Mayors and Governors, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, Service Chiefs, senior government officials, the media, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with immense pleasure and great honor that I welcome you all to the Republic of the Gambia, the smiling coast of Africa, for this inaugural edition of the special Sahel Governance Forum under the timely and compelling theme, the future of governance, rebuilding social cohesion and public trust. This forum could not have come at a more opportune time as the region grapples with complex governance challenges rooted in historical, structural, economic, and political dynamics. It is imperative that as stakeholders, we redouble our commitment to the people-centered governance and inclusive development. Today, we are gathered here in pursuit of solutions that can help renew the social contract in the Sahel, foster justice, promote accountability, and governance structures that will serve the best interest of all peoples and governments in the region. Excellencies, this forum is a clarion call to revisit our frameworks with a view to bringing fresh thinking to bear, especially in the light of the aspirations of our youths and the resilience of our communities. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation to our valued partners, the United Nations Development Program, the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Foundation, the Office of the United Nations Special Coordinator for Development in the Sahel and International Ideas, for their steadfast collaboration with the government of the Republic of the Gambia in bringing this very important forum to fruition. The Republic of the Gambia is very proud to host this platform, one that convenes governments, community leaders, private sector voices, technical experts, and citizens from across the Sahel and beyond. Through this, we affirm our collective belief that only through inclusive, homegrown, and context-responsive solution can the region unlock its full potential to ensure no one is left behind. I am glad to note that this forum will also provide the platform to celebrate the launch of the first edition of the Future of Governance in the Sahel Report, a flagship publication which reflects months of research, engagement, and also analysis. It stands as a testament to what we can achieve when we combine evidence-based thinking into visionary policy dialogue. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, and with all these in mind, I now have the singular honor and great pleasure to invite to the podium a leader who continues to champion democratic governance, the rule of law, human rights, and inclusive development in our region. His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, to officially open this landmark forum. Therefore, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in warmly welcoming His Excellency, the President. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, Goodluck Jonathan, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, former President of Mali, former Vice President, here present, of the West Africa and the Sahel, Leonardo Santos, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, distinguished service chiefs, invited guests, the media, ladies and gentlemen. Before proceeding, I will seize this opportunity to thank the UN family and Goodluck Jonathan for choosing the Gambia to organize such a very important forum for the first time. Former president said, how can we create wealth? I have a straightforward answer. We maintain peace and stability, then we'll create wealth. It is with great honor that I welcome our international guests to the Gambia for the inaugural edition of the Sahel Governance Forum. In particular, I extend our special welcome to all the participants present. We value your attendance as it affirms your commitment to the urgency of the numerous tasks before us in the Sahel. I assure you that hosting this important forum here demonstrates the Gambia's enduring commitment to democratic governance, peace, security, and stability in the region and on the African continent as a whole. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Sahel is a region of immense promise. It is vastly rich in human and natural resources, favorably blessed with a unique cultural heritage, and endowed with a huge strategic potential to spur economic boom. These endowments make the region a formidable gateway to Africa's sustainable development and energy transition. Social cohesion and pace of development it deserves. Notwithstanding these observations, we are here today not to lament our challenges and inadequacies, but to confront them with courage, clarity, and collective resolve. Our task is to devise homegrown solutions, act on the lessons learned from the past, and move forward through peaceful and people-centered approaches for sustained development and prosperity. The theme for this forum, the future of governance, rebuilding social cohesion and public trust, could not be more timely. Across the Sahel, the slow pace of return to democratic rule and the withdrawal of some Sahel states from ECOWAS continue to compound the persistent and emerging challenges that confront us individually and collectively. This forum offers us a unique opportunity in coherent actions to tackle the challenges we face in the region. Addressing such challenges require increased solidarity, devise partnerships, and thoroughly distill interventions, develop true, appropriate peace and development lenses. In the Gambia, we have taken bold steps to build forward better. In 2023, we launched the Green Recovery Focus National Development Plan 2023-2027, known as YIRWA. This plan articulates a bold vision for a resilient, inclusive, and sustainable Gambia. Its pillars are not only policy priorities, but also meant to provide a roadmap for transformative change. At the heart of this vision lies a deep commitment to governance and peace building, recognizing that without trust, justice, and inclusive, real development outcomes could be eroded or unsustainable. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our commitment to governance reform is further demonstrated by our response to the findings of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, TRRC, we established in 2018. In a historic move, out of the 265 recommendations in the TRRC white paper, my government accepted 263 out of the 265. And we have since embarked on their gradual implementation. These actions reflect our resolve to confront the past with honesty and build a future grounded in justice, accountability, and reconciliation, so that we leave this conference center with a renewed sense of purpose and a shared commitment to building a continent where governance works for all, where trust is restored, and where every citizen feels seen, heard, and valued. If all the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Foundation and the International IDEA for partnering and collaborating with us to co-host this forum. Be assured that the Gambia stands ready to work with all stakeholders and partners to implement the resolutions of this gathering and to champion a new era of governance, peace, and development in the Sahel. A well-coordinated, collaborative approach to implement shared commitments and resolutions is a viable option to ensure justice, inclusive, and sustainable solutions for today's realities, especially for positively impacting the dynamic and creative youth and women of the region and the continent at large. We must always remember that peace in the Sahel can influence peace and stability in Africa and beyond. Hence the urgency to continue dialoguing and working together to transform our challenges into meaningful outcomes. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, hoping that the deliberation during these 2 days will contribute significantly towards rebuilding.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Considering your very busy schedule, Your Excellency, we know you have other important state matters to attend to. We'll crave your indulgence to please stay for a few minutes to take a group picture. And on that note, the VIP seated on the stage, please remain, and I'll call on some other guests to please join. I'd like to call on the former Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, His Excellency Dr. Kadri, to please join them. Who is helping me coordinate this? There. The former VP of the Gambia, Madam, please join us. Your Excellency, Governor Bala Mohammed, please join. The senators from the ECOWAS Parliament, we have both Senator, they're going behind, Senator Abdul Ningi, Senator Edwin Snow. We have the SRSG Abari, USG, yes, sir. Ambassador Nuhu, please. Ambassador Nuhu, please join us, sir. Madam Benita Diop, please join us. Yes, thank you. Can we also have the editors and the authors of the report join? Dr. Chris Famio, please come up. Dr. Gadio, the former foreign minister from Senegal, he's here. Please join us, please. I think one more person, Director Yakub. Yep. And Honorable Bakri, the speaker, please join us. Huh? They will stand to join the picture, right? Yes. We've recognized him today. He's been recognized. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Who? Yes. Ka, please. Thank you. Yeah, standing. Your Excellencies, please, if you could, please stand for us. Thank you so much. Are we supposed to be here? Are we not supposed to be here? Yes, please. Could you please? Madam Benita Diop. I told you. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Thank you so much. Later on, we'll have a group picture for all the participants. Thank you. And that officially ends the opening ceremony of the Future of Sahel, Future of Governance in the Sahel Forum. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, President Adama Barrow, for joining. National anthem, please. Thank you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, it's not inside here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for coffee break. So if you can kindly, ushers will direct you to where you can have your tea and coffee break. Please. The coffee break is for 10 minutes and we're back here. Ushers, can you please direct participants to where the coffee break is holding?